Were you good?
No, no, I agree 100%. What definitely, right now I think we're seeing a transition from from this physical distribution to the digital distribution, and in some cases with more strength than others. Obviously Half-Life 2 and Steam, probably the numbers are much higher. A much higher percentage was distributed online compared with total distributed games. But definitely, I think online distribution will, in many ways, take a larger share eventually of the physical distribution. But most importantly, and I think more significantly, will impact the design of the games. And actually, now, just like Keith was saying, you're going to have different business models like episodic content, microtransactions, maybe games that are played for free, and you just pay little by little depending on advertisement. I think online distribution opens up a whole new array of business models and design possibilities in game development that I think it's probably one of the most interesting things on this new trend, on top of just taking share out of the physical distribution.
Right. And so is Assault Heroes, for example, is that being distributed in a box at any point?
Yes. Well, we're the Xbox Live Arcade version, no, it's just online, but we're doing a PC one probably sometime soon, and it will be also. Okay. I mean, as you might know, there's even in the casual game space, which is mostly games developed for online distribution only, there's an increasing market of physical distribution of those games. Mm-hmm. Just the power of the Walmarts of the world is so enormous that just putting it on the shelf, right, can also represent significant numbers.
It's interesting because from my perspective in the casual game space, it's almost like exactly opposite views. Traditional retail games see digital distribution right now as a source of residual income, and for us, it's the primary source, and retail distribution is a source of residual income. So.
It's kind of an interesting analogy for that. You remember back in the early days of TNT, mm-hmm. their whole business was just taking old movies, right, throwing them online, and HBO was exactly the same way. And they were able to build audiences on that basis, but then over time, it became about the original content, the IP that they owned, and other things that they could do with it that they didn't do before. So we may well see the same sort of thing happening here. Things like GameTap, which are really about recycling old games and incremental revenue at the end of their life cycle. But obviously what we think is going to happen over time is that products that are original to this medium are in fact going to be more fun because they were built for it. Mm-hmm. They were built for those online consumers, and that will become the dominant form over time. That sure is my prediction right here.
Sure. Just can you guys hear? I feel like I'm much louder than these guys. Is that just me? Can everyone hear them equally well? Okay. Or no, you're agreeing that I am louder. Okay. Well, Ted, I just wanted to clarify. You mentioned that you forecast a greater percentage of digital distribution sales late in the cycle. Did you mean late in the sales cycle for a given title, or late in the cycle for the consoles, or what did you mean?
Right, so late in the console cycle.
Okay.
Once we have more critical mass for the next-gen consoles, that's really when we see a ramp up in both downloadable content, microtransactions, also in-game advertising. Those sorts of opportunities will be more in, say, 2000 and 2008, 2009, 2010.
Okay. So, it sounds like you're primarily, when you think of digital distribution, the consoles and the digitally connected internet connected consoles are really what you're looking at. Is PC just not significant enough, or or is it just that the companies you're looking at are primarily?
Right. I think digital distribution for PC titles makes a lot of sense. You've already got that connectivity, and so you're seeing products available online for the PC. I think where we're looking at the future opportunities is how could that change the console market. And specifically, it's interesting, people have mentioned the power of the retailer. I think that's an interesting scenario in 2009, 2010. Who starts to have the power in the digital world? GameStop right now, 30% of their revenues, 50% of their operating profits comes from used games. When you can sell a product digitally to the consumer and when it's moving in that direction, maybe there isn't a used game market. So GameStop could still be a player in that new world, but they don't have to be. Could it be Apple? I mean, could it be Best Buy with an online interface? Sure.
Right.
But that could definitely change in 3 or 4 years.
Right. I mean, that actually leads me to my next question, which was about, I mean, it seems like, Robert, you mentioned the business models within the world of digital distribution maturing, and you know, right now it's easy to understand that if you don't have to print a box and take it to the store and put those molecules onto the shelf, then you're saving money. But does the business model maturing just mean that the value chain gets replicated in the digital space? I mean, does Walmart just become the kind of gatekeeper on the digital distribution side?
Well, you know, my opinion, and love to hear what the others here have to say, but my opinion is that there will be, there's a war being fought. It's just kind of the first rounds of who are going to be the kings of this digital distribution thing, you know, in the coming years. And we're just in the first phases of it now. So we've got IGN out there doing stuff. You've got Valve out there doing stuff. You've got companies like Atari doing stuff. And you've got it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of lawless right now. It's kind of, you know, everybody's got a little bit different take on it. Everybody's got, you know, giving away different percentages and different focus. Some are advertising driven, some are, you know, your pay to play, microtransaction, all kinds of little spends on different models. You know, and I don't think we have an answer yet. Certainly, you would expect, you know, the guys at Best Buy, the guys at Walmart are not idiots. They realize that the same as, you know, now, you know, you buy McAfee or Norton or some kind of utility product. I think probably everybody in the room is comfortable going to the website of these companies and just downloading that product rather than buying a physical box. And that utilities business has slowly deteriorated, and they know that this is going to come to the game side at some point. So they have methods for addressing this. So, you know, GameStop, EV. I mean, they have. You go to their site, you look up, you know, the latest and greatest stuff. They also have download games there. So, you know, along with Madden 2007, you know, you scroll down. There's probably a football downloadable game someplace in there. And you can do it right off their site, just the same as you would order, you know, Madden and have it delivered to your door. So I think the, you know, who's the clear victor, I